Stranger Things Season 5 has come to an end after 10 long years of being on Netflix and being one of its most profitable shows that they have. There's so much to talk about, so many things to get into, an ending we need to discuss, and some Dead by Daylight gameplay in the background, so let's just jump right into the video. To start, I would like to say the episode as a whole was very well made. I think they very much redeemed themselves from Volume 2 feeling kind of weird and very off. Not like what the Duffers normally make, but I think they very much redeemed themselves with how this episode was, and the pacing was a little and I'll get into that in a moment, but for now I'd just like to talk about how the episode was as a whole. I think it was very well rounded, even with some pacing issues, but I think beyond that, I think the whole episode really brings the whole show to a nice close, and I think that's exactly what they needed to do. Okay, to start, I would like to talk about the pacing that I mentioned before. I think the only thing that they could have fixed well with the pacing was the overall climax of the episode and the huge fight with the Mind Flayer and Vecna. It felt like that whole fight kind of just ended right as the episode began. Like as soon as they got into the abyss, they figure out that the hideout that Vecna was in for a really long time had just been the Mind Flayer the whole time, and then they just kind of killed it right away. I felt like it could have been going on for much longer, or even showed the characters struggle against it some more, but huge Mind Flayer was just like not tanking bullets whatsoever, and just every little shotgun shot was doing so much damage to it. Considering the whole scale of it, comparatively to Demogorgons, who are also from the same dimension, they tank all bullets. Like, they do not take any damage whatsoever, which is really weird comparatively. Overall, like, seeing it come alive and really showing that, like, this is the final form, although I prefer the Shadow version much better. I think it's so much creepier, but although you get to see it come alive, it was a very epic fight, and it was a very cool rally moment with all the characters and how each story from throughout the seasons come together to fight the ultimate evil at the end. So that was really cool overall, and I just wanted to see more of it. I think that would have been so awesome to see more fight, or even more fight from Vecna as well. He kind of went out very easy. He just kind of got stabbed and just kind of choked on his own blood for like the last bit before Joy Spires eventually chopped that boy's head off. So overall, it was the pacing that honestly was not my favorite bit, but I think they did a really good job, like with the fight and the VFX, just all the effects. Honestly, they did a really sweet job on that. It looked realistic. It was still kind of that like cartoonish-y, but also like in the same world. It was like a much upgraded meat Mind Flayer that we got to see in season 3. So I think the overall fight was really well done and well made. I just wish it was a little longer. The next thing we need to talk about is the big ending, very controversial ending, and I will get into that. But for now, I'd like to just talk about 11 sacrificing herself as the Upside Down is collapsing. The group is caught by the military, they're held at gunpoint, and 11 is standing in the gate. She talks to Mike and she says she has to, or else Brenner's experiments will continue. And this is where you realize, oh crap, she's really doing Kali's plan. Why is she doing that? It's what she told Hopper. She said it was her call, and it was the right call, is what she said. It was really sad to see that character sacrifice herself like that, but it was honestly, I think, probably the perfect way to wrap up the show. That she opens the gate, she starts everything, and she's the one to go out with it. It's like Captain going down with their ship, essentially, is what I'm saying. I think that makes the show's ending more poetic and honestly perfect than people are really saying it. Yes, I would have loved to have her and Mike end up together and live happily ever after, but sometimes it just doesn't get to end like that. And especially with a show with so many fans and so many ideas and so many theories. I saw so many theories leading up to it. For a show with that much, people felt really, really let down by the ending. And honestly, me personally, I made my last video talking about how Volume 2 was not sitting right with me and how it was feeling very off. But overall, I felt like this Volume 3 was really good. I felt like it was the perfect way to fully wrap up the story, fully end it, and fully just put a pin in it and say, there you have it, there's the whole story. I felt like it was much better than Volume 2 by a mile, and it felt like it got back to what Volume 1 had started, and it really finished just the whole story into a nice, neat little bow. And overall, I think Duffers did a really good job. I think there's still a lot of plot holes, a lot of questions that need to be answered, But I think for the main story and the main things, I think they did a really good job, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do with the way that they were projecting the season to go. I think there were ways that it could have been better and they could have done it better, but I think overall, with the direction they were pushing the show, I think it ended perfectly for how it was going. So I'm very sad to see the show go, but I think it was very needed that that was the ending that we got for these characters. And like for Steve, it was just so perfect. And Nancy being independent and Jonathan going to NYU, like Joyce had said in season 1, that was his dream college. And it was just great to see the characters go their separate final directions, and it was very emotional. And honestly, I think after I was done watching, I was just like, wow, like that's it. I've had this channel for like 8 years now. Actually, it is 8 years. I think I got a notification today saying I made this channel 8 years ago today, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. Like I've had this channel for 8 years making videos on this. Like, what am I gonna do now? Like, that's immediately where my mind went, because the show had meant so much. A lot of love for the show was poured out into this channel as like a passion project and ways to show other people how to build things. And I'm going completely off topic right now, but it really just shows how much the show meant to me and all the ways that it did. And I'd like to briefly mention this next topic, and I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but a lot of people came up with so many fan theories and had so many expectations that so many people felt let down by this episode and the ending. Let me just say, I went into this with 0 expectations. If you watched my last video, you know I went into this with 0 expectations. I did not expect a thing, and I was satisfied. I felt very satisfied by the ending. I felt very satisfied by the entire show and how it wrapped up. I felt like a lot of people really went into it with all these crazy theories in mind about Mike going back in time and time traveling and all these things. I think that a lot of people really just kind of went into those and felt really disappointed by the ending, and I really enjoyed the ending. Like I said earlier, I did not feel let down. I felt very satisfied by it, and I think this is a good moment for people who really love shows to really start to go into finales, or especially just going into shows and waiting for the next season to come out, to go into it with 0 expectations. Because I feel like when you put a lot of pressure on this last episode or this finale, that it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen, that you will be let down, because, you know, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, and the Duffers had a lot of mistakes, a lot of plot holes, Vecna retcon. But I would just like to say, I think this is a great learning moment for all of us as watchers to know that going in with 0 expectations versus a lot of expectations might really help next time. Alright, the next thing we need to talk about is the 11 ending. The Duffers have now finally confirmed that the ending is up to your interpretation, and whether, like the party, you believe if she is still out there on her own and enjoying those waterfalls that her and Mike talked about. I personally think 11 is dead, but I would love to believe that she is alive. I just don't think it's very likely, and I think it's honestly more poetic and better for the story for her dying, but I would have really just loved for her to have that happy ending with Mike, and even have Mike go there with her. That would have just been awesome. I think Mike perfectly describing how everything went down is a little fishy as to like it actually being real. Like, how would he know that all happened unless 11 told him? But I think it's really cool how the Duffers let you get that interpretation, and kind of how you get to almost control the story, and how you can believe if you so choose, or you can choose to not believe. I think this overall ending does kind of leave a little bit of dissatisfaction, because we don't fully know the fate of this character and what's really going to happen with her, but giving us the interpretation and the choice to believe or not, I think gives us more hope for that character. Than I think the Duffers honestly cooked with that, even though it creates a little bit of dissatisfaction, but overall they did a really good job. I think the show ending in Mike's basement, where it all began and where it all started, is very poetic. I think the Duffers just did a very poetic job. It was a very full circle moment, and now having Derek and Holly and all those kids, now they're playing D&D in the basement, and it's like the next generation. Just seeing that take place, and then seeing all the kids finally graduate, even though Max was in a coma for a very long time, which is really weird, but seeing her graduate, seeing Will graduate, who's been through so much, seeing Mike graduate, who's also been through so much, just seeing these characters graduate and finally move on with their lives and finally live normally felt very weird to see, because they're always in trouble and always some sort of danger, but it was very just perfect. And I do not think that there was really any other way of writing this show, with all the things they kept in mind and all the things they honestly didn't really keep in mind. Now I would like to talk about, where does my channel go from here? it kind of reaches a crossroads at this point with my channel being Stranger Builds and it being in the name. It's a very interesting moment. I did not ever think that this moment would happen to where the show that my channel is based on is now done. And it creates a very tricky situation, but best believe I'm not rebranding. I'm not changing what I'm doing. I will start to get back to Minecraft videos, hopefully. I will say hopefully, if I have time. I do have a life outside of this, so that does make it a little harder, but overall though, I'll still be making videos, and I love making these talking videos. I just really get to truly express my passion for this show, and it could even be other shows as well, but I just really like making these videos for you and entertaining you. Overall, this ending had everything it needed to do. It accomplished everything, and I will miss this show so very much. It just feels weird knowing that the show's done and that it's over with. And I've seen some people talk about it feeling like losing a loved one, and honestly could not agree more. It feels weird, just like knowing that there's not going to be another season, or I'm not going to see these characters again. Overall, it's going to be deeply missed. The spin-off show is coming out at some point, and I will gladly make a video on that if you would like to see that. Drop a comment down below if you have any thoughts on this season and this overall show in general. I personally think this show is a masterpiece. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. I really enjoy making these videos. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed the finale, and I will see you guys in a later video.